Hello and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Bryson. I am joined by a good friend, Seth, who I've known for a couple of years now. He is best known in this industry for his sideburns. You got to show off the sideburns, Seth.
How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Pretty much, he's like the pre-COVID equivalent of me, only like he doesn't complete it.
And better looking.
And better looking. I mean. All day, every day, Seth.
Right. At least there.
Our charity that we're highlighting for this week is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, one of the oldest societies to help different folks with different kinds of challenges around immigration. So please donate and always share what you're donating so that we're aware of that. As always, we enjoy you cooking along with us, so post your questions in the chat window and we will get to them as we can. We love to see what you do while you cook along with us, so tag us. The new tag is now going to be Unicorn Chef to make it a lot easier. So tag us at Unicorn Chef and show us what you're making along with us. And Seth, the most important question, of course, is what are you drinking?
These days, I'm drinking just about everything. But tonight, I am drinking Golden State cider, which is a little bit lighter than usual there. But and I'm drinking the Brut version, so it's a very dry apple cider, alcoholic, at the level of I don't know. It feels like around here, around 5.5%. Gluten-free for those people who are into it, vegan-friendly, so it's helping me be a better person. But it's still the middle of the workday here, so I'm taking a break to do this, and then I've got to be semi-coherent on my next project.
So for time capsule purposes, the Bob Woodward book, Rage, where he has 18 interviews with our President Donald Trump, just dropped. And Seth, being a journalist, is now on full red alert to talk about all of the things, so that's for a time capsule for those of you watching this in 2024. Seth, we're making Laap. Let's start doing that, and then let's start talking about what a shit show 2020 is.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'd love to do that. So before we begin, you might have noticed that Laap is not a traditional Western dish. It's actually from Southeast Asia. And one of the things that I love about it is that it's incredibly flexible. It's the kind of dish that, if it were a yogi, would be the best of the yogis. You can use ground chicken, ground beef, ground pork. Those are sort of the more traditional proteins that you can put in. You can use tofu. You can, Bryson is showing off his chicken drumsticks that he's pre-grilled a little bit to lock in the flavor. And you can use fish fillets, which I will be doing. You can use tofu. You can use ground up mushrooms, any of these things. You can even use whole fish by shoving the lemongrass whole into the fish cavity. And you can also then, layer the sauce inside the fish. You can use it as a steak preparation. Marinate the steak in some of the sauce. Once the steak has been grilled, you can then pour the sauce over the steak again. It's one of these things that is just really adaptable, super easy in so you don't have the ability to chop. Once you can chop things, that's about 95% of this dish. It's really great that way. And one of the other things that's really important about it is that you flavor it to your specifications. If you like things salty, add more fish sauce. If you like it spicy, you don't have to use 1 or 2 Thai chilies. You can use 7. I feel sorry for the rest of your body, but you can do that. And one of the other things that I think is really important in cooking this, and that other people who are far better at this than I am have taught me, is that the freshness of the ingredients is paramount. You have to use ingredients that you have picked up that day. Better if you grow them yourself, but that's not always possible for a lot of us. and really try to get a lot of those authentic Southeast Asian flavors. You want Vietnamese mint, also called Vietnamese coriander. You want to be sure you have Thai chilies. Dry will work, but nothing like a fresh one to throw in there, chop it up. And the two trickiest items I find for a lot of people to get when they're shopping for this dish are the galangal, which is a very hard root. And there it is, Bryson's showing it off. And what was the other thing? Oh, yes, the kaffir lime leaf. You only need one or two of them per pound of protein, but they're not easy to find. One thing and worse, they're really expensive, even in a place where we have a lot of farms like San Francisco. What's great about them is that once you get a bag of kaffir lime leaves, which will cost a huge amount of money, unfortunately, you can then freeze it. Throw it in a paper bag, write on the bag what it is so you don't throw it out accidentally. You can freeze them for a year, I think even longer if you don't tell anyone. And they're really great that way. So you spend a lot of money on the outset on them, but they add a nice kick to the Laap, and they're great that way. Another very important thing about the ingredients, not only freshness, but lime juice is a key ingredient here. You're supposed to soak your fish or your chicken or whatever in some lime juice. The base of the rest of the sauce is made up with lime juice. So be sure you're using fresh limes. Be sure you're using as many fresh limes as you can. Obviously, if you can't, then store-bought concentrate will do. But the freshness, again, is paramount. So the first thing we're going to wind up doing is toasting a little bit of rice. This is our bucket of rice that we have. We're just going to toast a little bit of it. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, use a hammer. You can also use a coffee grinder. Any number of tools that you've got will be totally acceptable for grinding this up. What we're going to do is throw it in the pan. I'm turning on my pan now. You can see here, angle the camera. We've got a nice cast iron, a nice coffee mug, nice tea kettle. We're going to heat up the pan. We're going to throw the rice in. We're going to stir it around quickly so it gets toasted lightly, and then pull it out. It, again, doesn't need to be a huge amount of rice because we're grinding into a powder. So we're going to wait for that. This is heating up quite quickly.
So why did you pick this dish? What is your first connection with it? Where did you first come across it?
So I was very lucky. I had spent 3 years living in Japan and taking a break from journalism and teaching English there, and then went on a year backpacking trip across Asia. And I'm pretty sure I'd had Laap before I went to Southeast Asia, but spending a month in Laos really turned me onto the dish because I was eating it so often. I was having all different kinds of variations of it, and it's one of those things that I was able to ask people there how to make it and write down recipes and come back and a lot of Southeast Asian flavors and cooking has really exploded far beyond places where people from that region have moved to, and you can add a lot of these kinds of dishes. But it's remained a favorite of mine ever since I was there in 2005, 2006. So that's what it's all about for me, sort of bringing back a little bit of those memories through food.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is I spent a couple of weeks in Thailand, and I really enjoyed in Bangkok at dinner time. They just throughout the streets they just throw yard furniture, like plastic yard furniture everywhere.
Yep.
And you can just go to any place and just sort of walk up and be like, oh, that, and you just sit there and eat in the middle of the street with everybody. And the food was so good. Everything in Thailand tastes so good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's great. And it's funny because I don't know when you were there, but that was exactly my experience. You know,
I was there in 2008 or 2009.
okay, great.
When were you there?
So, I was there 05 to 06.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've scooped up a bit of rice, white rice. I generally prefer brown rice when doing this dish. I couldn't find my bucket of brown rice. That's 2020 for you. Anyway, so we're going to throw a little bit of this down. And then throw a little bit of oil on it. If you have sesame oil or peanut oil, those are always great. Not essential though.
Can you tilt the camera so you can see what you're doing?
Yep, I'm going to do that in just a sec. And so here we go. We've got some rice in the pan. And the important thing to do is not a long period of time. Just make sure that the pan is hot when you before you put them down. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Looks like you've got yours toasted and ready to go. Excellent.
Mine is already toasted, and I already have my sauce with everything.
So I will show people the incredible joy of once you've chopped everything up, you can throw it into a sauce, and that's almost the entirety of the cooking that you need to do. I will need to cook my fish.
Oh,
it is currently marinating. So this is about all you
while I wait to finish.
We're going to take some of the rice and throw it into the mortar, grind it down with a pestle. And the reason that you do this is it adds a nice little nutty flavor to the dish. So you can see here, we've got just a bit of the rice, about half of it or so, maybe a little more. In the mortar and pestle, we're going to grind it down. The noise is setting off any teeth. I'm really sorry.
That's all right. I also forgot from the beginning of this episode. Mazel tov on your new marriage.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. We just got our ketubah, the Jewish wedding contract, back from the framers. We're very excited that none of our guests, because we don't have guests anymore, can see it.
I was there watching it broadcast live.
So how was that, watching it live? Because I was there, and my brain went into, you know.
Oh, no, you were getting married. I mean,
I had other things on my mind.
It was really different. I mean, I'm sitting there at my desk with my computer set up and watching people get married. I mean, it was, I've never experienced that before.
Yeah.
I mean, what I could tell, I mean, it was lovely the way you had the setup there with the rabbi in the background and the two of you. I took a screenshot of it because I figured that was my equivalent of like taking a picture from sitting in a row. I mean, I'm in some ways, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to make it physically to your wedding, so it was neat to still get to participate in some way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were sort of lucky that it happened, that this year has unfolded in the way that it did, because the 13th of August was the day that we started dating last year in 2019, which was my first day back from DEF CON. I always ride my motorcycle out with Paul Vixie and couple of other people sometimes, and I usually take 2 days going and 2 days coming back. And so, but the day I got back was the day that we started dating. So to be able to have the exact same date a year later and have DEF CON be at home and not have to worry about juggling Vegas and everything really made it a lot easier. Some silver linings, I guess.
Yeah, no, I remember you motorcycling out for DEF CON.
Yeah.
That was the year that we had all the dust storms too. Or was that 2018?
It was pretty gnarly on the bike last year, I'll tell you that. And there's, even when it's not, it's no joke riding across a Vegas desert or the Nevada desert, you know, on a motorcycle in 100+ heat. And I wear armor because I like to not have road rash if I drop it, which hasn't happened. Knock on, there's wood here.
Here you go.
Wood, something's wood around here, right? Okay, so rice is ready. We're gonna do the sauce next, I believe. Yeah. So before you get started with all of this, make sure that you take about a 1/4 cup of lime juice per pound of protein you've got and soak it, let it sit in there, let it enjoy the marinade. Presumably you've done that already. I'm going to take the rest of the rice out of the pan and then get going on the sauce. Are you a pattern user, Bryce?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you into using cast iron?
Yes, I'm going to use my cast iron.
Okay, good.
I do not have a wok, so there are multiple alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Get a large non-stick, or
Yep.
if anybody has ever seen anything that I do, I love cast iron and burning lots of things. So that's like my go-to. I'm a simple man. I like all. I'm a simple man. I like things to stick.
Right.
I made a paella on the show the other month with Janine Frederick. And,
oh yeah.
My cast iron was not large enough because I don't actually have, you know, like one of those large paella pans.
Right.
And I was like, I had it like stacked like up to here, and I'm like, yeah, this will work. It did. It was delicious, but I mean, I was pushing the limits.
One of the things I love about the place that I rent is that it's got a built-in cutting board, which might scare some people, but it's been great. I wash it down with soap and water when I'm done. It's been a really neat thing to have.
I have never seen that before.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when I moved in, but I was very eager and willing to take advantage of it. So the last thing I'm going to do before we prepare the sauce is grab a bunch of the Vietnamese coriander. And I mean literally, you just stick your hand in, grab a bunch of it.
So we've got a question from online. What is Vietnamese coriander? What does that mean?
As far as I know, and I'm not an expert on it, it's a particular kind of coriander. It's also called hot mint to some people. It's different from Thai basil, but you know, it's a different plant. But it is similar in the sense that it doesn't have much to do with other forms of coriander. It's its own creature.
It has a purplish tint, correct?
Yeah, the stems. Let's see if we can.
There you go.
I don't know if it's showing off properly, but the stems have a bit of purple to them. The leaves look very different. Grab a bunch of that. And usually what I do, I don't really care if it got a little bit of stem on the leaves. I just like ripping things off. I'm going to grab a plate. And I'm going to start putting on the plate so I have them. Doesn't matter if they're broken. You don't want too much of the stem in there, but other than that, just grab the leaves. I'm glad we got a question. Exciting.
Okay, so you're just pulling the leaves off the stems right now?
Pulling the leaves off, get them ready. You can chop them, you don't have to chop them. They're going to wilt in the sauce anyway. In addition, just as a time capsule note to Woodward's book coming out today, we've also had Orange Skies of Doom, which is not a euphemism here in San Francisco and the Bay Area, as our typical and commonplace marine inversion layer met with smoke from the fires and decided that they didn't get along very well. And so we had almost pitch black darkness at noon, very unusual. So it's been quite a day here.
Well, in 2023 or 24, whatever year I said, by the time anybody watches this, all of our problems will be solved. So just, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, if we can have everything solved by 2024, I can retire. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, everything being solved would put you out of a job, wouldn't
it? No comment, as we say.
So what got you into journalism? Why did you?
Why I got into journalism itself, I think, is a little bit of a tricky question, because I'm a lot younger than I look. The other way around, I'm older than I look. So I wanted to write professionally, and I didn't think that learning creative writing in school was a good use of my time. It's not a skill in the sense that I felt that it would benefit me to spend academic money on it. What I did do was study journalism, and so went into journalism. And then when I came back from traveling around Asia, I wound up getting hired at CNET, and I worked there for 8 years, covering a variety of tech fields, and my dog likes vegetables, so I have to make sure she doesn't eat these. And yeah, so that's how I got started in this crazy little nonsense. All right. So we've got some leaves. I think Bryson has chopped his. I haven't chopped mine. And the next thing we do to a sauce. Yeah. So what we're going to do is grab a mixing bowl. Mixing bowl. I always start off anyway with fish sauce.
Standard staple of almost all Asian dishes.
Yes, absolutely necessary in just about everything you do. Also, it means you don't have to add much salt if you even need salt at all.
Very salty, very flavorful.
You can make this at home. Start off with a fish carcass and then go look up the recipe on the internet.
I haven't done anything with fish carcasses.
And over here, I have a plate. Let's see if I can show this off properly. Some light. There we go. So clockwise from here, there's my garlic. The big pile to the side of the garlic is the galangal. Some lemongrass at the bottom, and then over here is the kaffir lime. And you just take all that and you throw it into the bowl. Next up, on this plate, we've got chopped Thai red chilies, and then at the bottom, there's chopped scallions, green onions. Throw those in as well. And I like using a wooden spoon. You can use whatever you like, and just mix them around. Make sure that they're thoroughly integrated with each other. Okay. Next up, I've got 3/4 of a cup of lime juice. I like mine very lime forward, so 3/4 of a cup. You can do however you like. I don't know how much Bryson's got for his.
That many limes.
Looks like a good number of limes.
Squeeze them by hand.
So they've invented lime squeezers. I don't know if you know about them.
I prefer to do everything the hard way, as well as I like only things in my kitchen that can do multiple things. So squeezers are my hands. Other than that, doesn't have more than one.
So we've added the lime juice last. Take your ground rice that's been toasted. Is that the ground or is that the... There we go. Okay, toasted. Like those look like whole rice to me. Yes, take your ground rice. It's nice, it's fluffy, brown or white. Throw it in. And add in some of the chopped Vietnamese coriander. Just gonna chop it quickly and roughly.
I was like reserving some fresh to finish the meal.
Yes, I always keep some aside, but I also always buy a lot. It's important, like I said, it's important to make sure that it's to the taste that you like. The first time that you're doing it, I would buy a bunch. The bunch of Vietnamese coriander that they sell near me, or one of the markets near me, is about the size of my head. So I'm never really short for it. If it's too little for you, get extra. But I tend to do about half and half, chopped into the sauce, and then the other half on top.
So my trick for this is I don't pull the leaves off. I just chop everything on the stems.
Sure.
And to front load the stems into the sauce that I cook, because it still has the same flavor.
Yep.
It builds up better when I'm cooking it down, and then I can finish it with the fresh coriander.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And it also works as well for any Southeast Asian dish that has Thai basil in it. The stems there are completely edible. You can do that. So once the sauce is the only thing you need to do is cook up your protein, and you can do it in a couple of different ways. The recommended way when you're starting it the first time is throw some water into the pan, heat it up, come to a bit of a boil, and then throw the protein in. Once the water boils down, the meat will be cooked, and then you add the sauce on top. If you're using something that's light and flaky like a fish, I like to chop it up with a wooden spoon and then add the sauce on top. The important, when you're done with, before you add in the sauce, turn off the heat. You don't want the sauce to cook. I'm going to turn on the pan and grab some coconut oil. Sesame oil, I like. Nice big bottle of sesame oil. Get that going. And I've got my big wok for when the fish is ready to be transferred.
So what are we doing with the cabbage and the sprouts?
Yes, the cabbage and sprouts are part of the garnish for this. The cabbage is the serving device. So when the Laap is ready, you load it into the cabbage, and the sprouts you can mix in with the sauce, or you can serve on the side. Either way is fine. I like to mix them in a little bit and then have some fresh ones on the side so they add a bit of a crunch to it.
So what's your biggest prediction for the year?
My predictions.
Yeah, that's right. I'm putting you on the spot. Your job is to see things. What do you see?
This is like the dumbest year to predict anything, Bryson, right? I mean, this has disaster.
Yes, because I feel like the last 4 years has been the dumbest years to predict anything. So
Well, the only prediction of the last 4 years, that was accurate was it's going to get worse. So I'm going to do just a quick little searing of these fishies. Get them nice and good. Here's a shot. It's a fish. Another one. Yeah. So once these four have been seared a bit, I will tell you all about my favorite kitchen implement.
Nice stepping the tough questions, huh? All right. What's your favorite memory from 2020? Besides getting married, all right, that one's obvious.
Yeah.
Just day of your life. You're so lucky you met her. Other than that.
Yeah, other than that. I gotta say, you know, I've been pretty blessed here. Certainly everything with Julian has been very good. I like to categorize my career this year as, you know, transitioning. We don't know what it's transitioning into, but it's transitioning. It's a good enough term. But what, I don't know. I would say I finished a long-time motorcycle project, which had been on my calendar for a long time, over 2 years. 2 years ago, when I rode out to DEF CON, my motorcycle exploded on me. I cannot confirm how fast that's going, but I did not drop the bike. But there was a lot of smoke and fire and unpleasantness, and we don't need to talk about that ever again. And the bike repair project finally got completed. What about you? What's been good for you this year, man?
Well, I mean, just a couple of, I mean, so I've had 3 virtual conferences already. So I saw the way things were going. We held our first one on no notice. That was GrimCon in April. Then we did another one. And at Scythe, we did our first technical user conference just 2 weeks ago. And then I got Hack the Capitol next week. You're coming to Hack the Capitol, right?
Oh, yeah. I think I was at one of the first Hack the Capitols from when it got started at ChewCon. So it was on one of those.
No, that's different.
Yes, it is different, but
that's where they bring the hackers on a tour through the Capitol building. Hack the Capitol is an annual conference where we talk critical infrastructure with members of Congress and congressional staffers. It's a whole day.
Great. I am looking forward to it. It is on my calendar. I thought for some reason it was connected to what Bo was doing, but
Bo is, I believe, moderating one of the panels on threat sharing this year. Bo has been instrumental in what we've been doing with the ICS Village, which is the nonprofit that started it. But no, that's what's it called? I'm trying to remember the name of that thing. Hackers on the Hill. Hackers on the Hill.
Hackers on the Hill. That was it. Yeah. So back to the food for a second. Favorite kitchen implement. It's the only spatula you ever need. It's a fish spatula, and it's great for everything that you need a spatula for. It sounds silly, and it's the simplest, cheapest thing you can get, but once I start using it every day in all of my cooking, it's like, the world has changed.
So this is new to me. What is so special about this spatula?
I mean, I could say it slices, it dices, you can fill in the rest.
What's your homework?
Right, which it does, but no, it doesn't. What's great about it is that it's got a wooden handle, so feels good in your hand. It's metal, so it is flexible with both use in and non-destructive use with a cast iron, use with a wok, as you can see here. There are both. I use it on my barbecue grill when I'm grilling there. It's just really one of those very versatile devices that a plastic one will melt if you use it on the barbecue. Metal ones are not great for most metal ones are not great for some kinds of pans, but this is, doesn't scrape because it's a very light metal. And it bends, which is great for fish.
So a lightweight metal spatula that bends with a wooden handle.
Yep. Love it.
I do not have one.
Yeah, you don't? Now you gotta get one.
I do pretty much everything with my bamboo.
I mean, I'm with you. I've got, but when I switch to it, it really changes things up. Okay, so my fish is just about ready. Sorry, that's my dog.
How's your rice?
Yeah, rice is good.
Check mine.
All right, so I'm calling my fish done at this point. And get a device for it. So taking it out of the wok. again, because I like a very strong citrus lime flavor to this dish, the lime juice marinade it's been sitting in, I actually add to the water when it's boiling. So, drain off as much of the liquid as you can if you need to. And then I like to put mine in straight from the plate, directly into the sauce bowl and mix it directly. If you prefer to pour your sauce on top, you can do that. If you're doing it with a steak, that's the better way of doing it. So we add the meat to the sauce. Around. Give it a good thorough mix. When you add your Vietnamese coriander to it, as a garnish, it will almost certainly wilt. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The mix. One of the nice things about the dish, if I can throw this off properly and this kitchen setup, is that it's got a great range. It's got nice red popping out from the chilies. It's got green from the Vietnamese coriander. White fish in there.
So I have to make mine without chili. My daughter does not like spice. So
that's fine.
No chilies in this one.
Yeah.
No chilies in this one.
One of the nice things is you can chop up the chilies and set them aside, and then add them to yours as a garnish.
So are you are almost ready for plating?
For plating, yes.
Plating. The final shot we do in every episode is we present our plates.
Absolutely.
Ready?
I'm going to take a handful of mung beans, bean sprouts, drop them in the bowl with the fish. Mix those around. You can hear them crunching a little. But if the sprouts aren't your thing, no one's going to mind. Take some of the fresh Vietnamese coriander, shred it in. You can rip it up by hand, as Bryson does. You can chop it with a knife, whatever works. There we go. And if you've been wondering, what do you do with your head of cabbage? This is where your head of cabbage comes in. good. So take your head of cabbage, make sure you get a nice leaf bowl made from it, torn from it. If you're not into cabbage, you can use a romaine, whatever kind of leaf you like. You can also serve rice on the side with this dish. What are you doing, Bryson?
I'm serving it directly on a bed of rice.
Great. That is the way. Oh, there's a prediction I can give you. Season 2 of The Mandalorian is going to be great.
Why is that?
I mean, have you seen the rest of the world?
I haven't seen any of The Mandalorian.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, great show. A lot of fun. All right.
Ready? Hold on.
Just about. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, so you have to hold it up. We got to get you in the picture.
I gotta hold it up. All right. I'll try to do this. It's a little tricky there with the setup. There we are.
No, you have to be in the picture, your face. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Seth?
Good.
very
Yeah,
much.
bon appetit.
It's time for dinner.
Excellent. That was a lot of fun, Bryson.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And reminder, everybody at home, donate to the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society.
Yes.
Share your
America,
picture.
one of America's oldest, or I think it's America's oldest, or one of the oldest immigrant aid groups in the country and in fact the world. They've been around since the 1880s.
And share your pictures of the food, the Laap that you make at home. Hashtag Foreign Chef. Seth, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bryson. I had a lot of fun. And Dog Zero is helping making sure the floor is a clean floor.
Always important.
Very important.